Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how we built an automated company research report for our BD team. It's a brief company research report, right? So this is just an example of the report that I've sent to myself, right? So this is a research on the company Admart. We have their business description, which is a contract manufacturing company, right? And these are their core products and services, their leadership team, and I've also fact checked that it's their actual leadership team. This is target markets, their competitive positioning in the market, right, and also their financials, right. So before we start, just a quick note on your system, right. Because we are pulling data from online sources, some data, especially the financials, right, the financials as well as the revenue, right. Because you see, as you can see, it's not publicly reported. It may not be 100% accurate, right? In this case, it's wrong, right? So be sure to always fact check after you get this report. That's why I've created it as a brief in the subject title, right? So that I know that this is just a brief and I'll need to screen through this report first. So you have to treat this brief report as just a placeholder for the actual report, right? It's not a formal report that you're gonna hand over, right? You still have to go through and fact check it, but most of it is correct as far as I've tested it. Yeah, and you also have their references down below so that you can check whether it's relevant, etc. So moving on to the workflow, we are building this in n8n, which is a low-code automation platform, right? So I've tried two ways, right? So the first way is where I've let AI determine the search queries, right? For example, searching about their core products, searching about their financials, the query that you put into their search tool, right? Which we are using is Tavily, right? Yeah. So in the first method, I let AI determine the search and also let AI compile the data. It works, right? But it's not as detailed as this, and sometimes it misses out on information, or it just ends up in a loop because yeah, it's not as efficient compared to the second one. So for the second one, I standardized the searches and I used AI to only compile the results, right? This is just to generate the company queries, right? I mean, we'll be searching 16 different things, right? We'll be using more tokens, but we're going to get more reliable results like this, right? It's more reliable in this sense, right? So in general, we'll be searching on their core products, their company history, leadership team, business model, market position, competitors, and their trends and challenges, market size, right? All the way to their news coverage, right? So there's 16 different things. So let's begin, right? Let me just save this real quick. So firstly, we need to start off with a form trigger, right? I'm just gonna build along this one here. It's a new one. So we're gonna start off with a form trigger, right? Which is an n8n form. You can use it however method you want, but I'm gonna do it just as a form trigger, right? We just put it, leave it as none. This is going to be your test URL that your team is going to click into to fill up the form, right? So the form will look something like this. Let me just show you. When they click on a link, they should have something like this show up, right? The form details, etc. So firstly, let me just close this, stop it. So firstly, we'll need to add a form title. So for this title, it will be probably company research generator. Brief. Make sure it's brief, right? Let's can leave this empty. We can leave this empty, or we can put in a disclaimer, right? Please check your email. So please check your email for the brief. Right? So we have form elements. So these are fields for the person to fill in, right? So in this case, I filled it as a company name. It's a text. They have to enter the company name, right? So let's build it out here. Firstly, we will want the company name. Text, right? It can be an email, it can be a file, right? But in this case, we'll just leave it as text because we are just using the company name to search for more and their website as well. So enter company name required. Okay, let's build this through slowly. Set. Right, so now that you've filled everything, make sure its form is submitted. And you can standardize this form path to maybe your company, to say domain, right? In my case, maybe I'm just gonna put it as simple school, right? Something like that. Simple school, company brief, company brief, right? Something like that. So that the link will look nicer, right? So you can see the output, see if it's good, right? So this is the title, the name, website, industry, location, and also the email to receive the report, right? Yep, just close this right now. And let's go to the next step, which is we'll need to generate the queries, right?
So for the next step, we'll be using a code node, right? Code in JavaScript, where I'll be just putting in the code from the previous workflow that I've created already, right? So what it does is it basically just gets the company name from the previous input, right? Company, website as well, and to just standardize the queries, right? So firstly, company name, their core products and services, right? Company name, company history and milestones, leadership team, right? Business model and strategy, all the way to news partnership and news coverage, right? So yeah, let me just quickly run through. I've already created one earlier because I did record the audio earlier, so you can see the time is actually earlier today. But yeah, let me just quickly redo it. Right, so I execute this step. Execute step. There, yeah. So just execute step, and yeah, this was a random companies near me that I found. Right. So we're just gonna fill it up. Right. So farmer. So here on the hut, the website here, and where is it? There we go. Pharmaceuticals. Just keep company location empty for now, and yeah, just put the email that you want this report to be sent to where you want the report to be sent to, right? So once you've created this, you can then use the data for the other steps, right? I'm just gonna pin this data for testing later on. You can pin it here as well. Yep. So now I can run this code node, and I should be getting all of this data, right? So Jet Pharma, their core product and services, right? Jet Pharma, main competitors in pharmaceutical industry, right? In the industry. And yeah, we can also have the new partnerships for this day, this year, and also news coverage for this date, right? This year, for the code for this year, it will be $ new date .get full year bracket, right? So same for getting the full date, right? To locale date string, right? So what it does is it just gives it in day, month, and year form. So next we'll be creating a HTTP request to send over all of these standardized queries to Tavily API, right? So if you're not familiar with Tavily, right, it's an API that performs web searches and returns summarized high quality answers, right? It basically saves you time from manually digging through all of these websites. Yeah. So firstly, we need to create a HTTP request, right? HTTP request. So we'll be using import curl for convenience, right? So just head over to Tavily. Yeah, just log into Tavily, and yeah, you'll be okay, I finished my credit for this account already as I was testing earlier. So yeah, let me just create a new account real quick in a different email. So now I'm in a different email, right? You can just log in using your Gmail, right? Sign in using your Gmail. This is the token that I'll be using later, and just basically head over to the documentations, right? Head over to documentations. So you can always connect quickly using Quick Start, right? You can just straight away import the curl, import straight away to this. You can straight import to get a working HTTP request to the API, to the Tavily API, right? You just need to replace your token with this token here, right? This key right here, sorry. So this is just the default query that they have set, that Tavily has set, right? Yeah. But we're not going to do just this, right? We want to have a little bit more control on what we're searching on, right? So you can head over to API reference, Tavily search, and also change this to curl and copy, and you can paste it here, right? Paste it here. Yeah, so you have a full, you have more parameters to change now, and you need to replace this with this right here. Right, copy, paste. So I'll be using the previous one as reference, right? The previous query, previous body as reference. So I'm gonna go here, enlarge it, and yeah. So firstly, we'll be using JSON query like this. We just copy paste it to replace this who is Leo Messi, the default, and auto parameters be false, topic general, search depth we'll be using advanced as we want to have more specific results, right? Chunks per source 3, max results 1, because we don't want to overwhelm our language model that we're using later, right? Include answers true. In this case, we'll be removing start date and end date because we do not need that, right? We do not want to limit in what we're searching. So include answers true, the rest false, right? So the include answer basically just provides a summary on what the Tavily API has searched, right? So out of all the 16 queries that we send in, they'll provide a summary for each of the 16 summaries for the searches, right? This is also a raw content so that you can cross-check if you need to. And all of this is false, and we can leave domains empty and country as null. So just delete this, close it, and you can just drag it over to let it work. Yeah, so Jet Pharma, remember heart, core products and services. So now we can just execute to let it run. So we have 16 different items, so it will go through each of the queries that we've generated earlier. So for next step, we have a code node. We just have it as combine data, right? Combining queries, right? So you can see it has the query, it has the answer, right? Just a general summary of what it has searched, what it has searched, right? So yeah, it's a pharmaceutical, right? So we are correct. Company history and milestones, right? Founded in 2004. Okay. Yep. Okay. So now we have to combine the queries, right? So let me just copy and paste from the previous node, the previous workflow that I've created. Right. So what this does is it actually just takes in all of these items from the previous node, right? And it follows the company name, right? Which is the Jet Pharma, right? You'll take Jet Pharma as a tool to then compile it all together, right? So in this case, all of the previous queries had Jet Pharma, and they'll then compile their date generated, their topic as well, which is the query and the answer, the summarized answer, right? So all of it will be here. As you scroll down, you can see the different queries, right? The leadership team. Scroll down. Business model and strategy. Scroll down. Market position, right? So all of this will be compiled into one output, right? So as you can see here, from 16 different items to one item. So because we do not want to input 16 different items into the AI agent, which will end up sending 16 different emails to the person. So we want to make sure it only sends out one email to the personnel, the BD personnel. So next step, we'll be creating an AI agent, right? AI agent. So we'll be changing this to define below, and we'll be inserting the prompt, right? So the prompt we're using from the previous one, right? So as you can see here, this is just basically to ask it to, based off of the JSON data from the previous node, right? Let me just go to the new one. Based off of the previous data from combined queries, right? To give a comprehensive and formatted company research report that uses that has the formatting using HTML, right? So I wanted to follow the structure. Basically, I wanted to have the report like this, right? Company overview, business description, core products, have bullet points, leadership team, bullet points, target market, competitive positioning. So this is basically just what I'm telling it to do. The format of the report how the format of the report should be, and to use HTML formatting, and we'll be using the data from the previous query. So JSON.stringify and $JSON, right? So just basically make sure everything is a string before putting into the AI agent. So next we'll be adding a chat model, right? So we'll be using OpenAI chat model. You can create a new credential, right? Through here, AI keys, create new key, and under platform.openai.com, go hit to API keys, create new key, and test. You'll be copying this and you'll be pasting it here to create a new key, right? To create a new credential, sorry. So in my case, I won't be proceeding with this because I already have one. So I'll just delete this, revoke. Okay. I'll be using GPT-5, sorry. GPT-5 Nano, as it's the cheapest model from OpenAI. I'll also be adding a fallback model because in the previous node, I've already actually exceeded my quota for the OpenAI. Yeah, so DeepSeek. So it's the same as well, platform.deepseek.com, right? Then we let it run, okay? And it's Gmail, right? The next step will be sending a message through Gmail, right? So as you can see, I've already exceeded the limit, right? Insufficient quota, exceeded your current quota, because I've used it to run all these Tably tests earlier, right? Which also exceeded the Tably test already. So as it runs, this is the next step, which is to send a message. So this will be the email that we are going to be sending it to. You can check your executions through here, right? So let's see from combined queries, right? What has combined? How long did it take? Agent as well. So we should see an output soon, right? Okay, so you can see the output. It was actually successful. It was in the correct HTML formatting as well. Pharma research report, business description. Yeah, it basically came out the format that we wanted, which was good, right? So next we just have to create the send email node, right? So for output, it will go into message, right? And after that, this one too will be from the email that we are going to send to, right? The email that we're sending to, right? So we need to change item to first bracket close, right? To pull out the proper email. And for subject, we'll be using brief, company name, same as well. First, brief report on them. Yep. Okay, so it should be running fine. We set this as HTML because just now all of these are in the HTML format. All of these are from the HTML format, so we need to set it as a HTML email type. So there we go. Now we just need to wait for it to enter email. There we go. So it's a Malaysian pharmaceutical company founded in 2004. Let's check. Let's see. Matthew M. John. 2004, right? Inception. Yep. Matthew M. John as well. Yeah, so I think it works rather well, right? It also tells you its business model, its challenges that's facing at the moment, right? Yeah, financial overview. Oh wow, okay. I'm not sure how it pulled this data, so that's why this is just a preliminary report where the BD personnel would then have to go through and fact check and to say validate whether or not the information here is correct, if it's accurate. Yeah. It'll also have all of these references down below where you can then also fact check if it's pulling from the correct data, right? So this also is affected by the model that you use, right? I'm using DeepSeek, which is one of the cheapest model. If I use OpenAI, it's also rather cheap. You can also use a more expensive model, which the GPT-5, which gave me really good results. So just a quick summary, right? So basically, it starts off from a trigger, which is from a form that the team fills, right? So to activate it, just put it to active, and you'll be sending this production URL to your team, right? So when they open up this this link, it'll be coming up here, right? I'll just create it here. So they fill it in and submit, right? And you automatically go through all of this workflow, right? Which is to firstly standardize the queries, right? Standardized queries. Generate standardized queries. The first step is to generate the standardized queries, the 16 different queries. You can definitely add more, but I think based on my previous experience in BD, right, usually these 16 queries will more or less cover a normal company profile, right? Then you just send over this HTTP request to the Tavily API, and the next is to combine all of these results, right? Combine all of these results, and then pass it into the AI agent to then compile this output, this report that you're seeing right here, which would then generate this report that you're seeing right here. So yeah, within just a few minutes, right, your team will be able to get this complete company profile, preliminary company profile, which you need to then validate and just basically fact check a little bit, right? And for cases like preparing for calls, like previously I had to prepare like probably almost every other day or every other week, we need to prepare a few company profiles depending on who we're going to meet, right? This research report will be helpful because it will give you at least a gist of who you're going to be meeting in this meeting, right? For example, you have an hour and you're meeting them in the next hour. You need to prepare this quickly. You don't really have the time to research and go through each of these websites to understand what this company is about, what are their core products, etc., right? So it'll just let you be more prepared for the meeting. Because this workflow uses public data, right, from Tablet. Some of the financials or the numbers are approximates, right? It may not be fully accurate. But as a fast automated tool that for a BD, right, it's a very good prep tool as it saves a huge amount of time for the team to get ready for meetings to come, right? So I think that's it for now. That's it for today. Keep automating, right? Stay happy, and yeah, catch you in the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.